In 1958, 48 women stood up for education, challenging the government and ultimately changing the course of civil rights history. These women were known as the Little Rock Women's Emergency Committee.
In the name of God, whom we all revere, in the name of liberty we hold so dear, in the name of decency which we all cherish, what is happening in America?
During the desegregation crisis at Central High School in Little Rock, Governor Faubus passed the law to shut down all 4 of Little Rock's public schools to prevent further desegregation. It was at that time when a group of women came together to form the Women's Emergency Committee to campaign against the governor's decision and support desegregation and encourage the reopening of the schools.
We did the first group we sent out were perhaps AAUW ladies who knew what the legislation was all about, knew when they were introducing a bill that we did not want passed. The men in the legislature just were not accustomed to these women who knew probably more than they knew, confronting them.
The WEC was co-founded by Adolphine Fletcher Terry, Vivian Brewer, and Velma Powell, and its members were various participants of local women's organizations. They campaigned against the closing of the schools and in the process were met with a lot of discrimination. They were labeled as integrationists and received hate mail and threatening phone calls, but nevertheless, they never backed down. They believed in public education and equal opportunity for all, and they were willing to fight.
When Vivian started speaking, then that was it. I mean, this was the job the women were going to do.
It was Adolphine Fletcher Terry who said, "The men have failed. It's time to call out the women." The women came out, and they did not fail. They worked with the state legislature and other political candidates who supported public education. And just 1 year later, in 1959, all 4 Little Rock public high schools reopened, desegregated. After the schools reopened, the WEC continued their efforts and worked with others by putting on voter education seminars and campaigning for candidates who supported public education before they disbanded in 1963. They were advocates for public education and true national heroes. The challenges they faced and the changes they made in education will never be forgotten.